So our first speaker today is Sarabi N, and Sarabi is going to present two original poems that she's created to address issues of globalization and modernity. So let's hear it for Sarabi.
Hello everyone. Modernity, as I use it today, means having access to the internet or to technology that is commonly used in developed nations. The practice of using developed versus developing to define nations, of course, requires discussion. However, for the sake of my discussion, let's assume that developed means a nation has a lot of wealth. So, what do we pay for modernity? For the right to take part in global conversations? In order to answer this question, I have composed two poems which I will first recite and then take apart one by one. The first is titled Language Disappearance. I do not know my origins. I don't remember the festivals. I've never even seen the rituals. I remember the alphabet, I read the books. I dress like everybody at school and no one in my house. I sit in class all day using my mouth to form the vowels and consonants my elders barely comprehend, but I'm at an advantage. I can shop in the large cities. I can read the national newspaper. I can use the internet. Children of my generation say goodbye. Goodbye, indigenous languages, goodbye, goodbye. You've served our mothers and our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers, but the tradition ends with us, the children of this world in which we are all trying to speak the same language. And when language is tied to culture, culture is lost as well. Language and culture are some of modernity's first victims. As we move towards a more connected world, we become more homogenous. Actions such as the choice to wear jeans and a t-shirt instead of more traditional clothing slowly erodes culture until we're all the same and there's nothing left to be gained from connectivity. Because when we're all alike, what do we have to learn from one another? According to K. David Harrison, a researcher on the topic of language disappearance and how indigenous languages fare in the modern situation, wrote that in 2005, 548 languages had fewer than 99 speakers. That means that roughly 8% of the world's languages are threatening to disappear within this century, and there are many more that are in that near dire situation. This begs the question, why do some languages become the standard whereas others do not?
The answer is simple. It is easier to communicate when everybody speaks the same language.
And imperialism did quite a good job of spreading some languages as opposed to others. I think that we should all try to teach the younger generation the native tongue as well as the national accepted language. However, doing this presents a few unique problems. The first is governmental. As institutions try to install certain languages, they use punitive methods such as imprisonment and public flogging to discourage the use of native tongues. The second problem, however, is social and much more complicated. Younger generations tend not to understand, tend not to realize the value of their native tongue. Therefore, they are resistant to learning it. Those that do learn the native tongue are teased in school because their peers see them as outdated or backwards for protecting this old tradition. And then there's a problem of exposure. Through daily activities, school, and the internet, the national tongue is more in the eye of the younger generation than the native language. In order to solve this, the older generation needs to take care to teach the younger generation the native language, and the younger generation should be receptive to these teachings. There needs to be a collaboration between both generations so we do not lose this language tradition and the treasures such as rituals and cultural texts. Besides taking language and culture, modernity also takes up quite a lot of our time. It seems counterintuitive because Modernization provides us with so many gadgets and technology that help us save time and spend it on things that are not directly related to survival. But instead of using that time productively, we use it to ensure our ascent of the social ladder, because the higher we are on the social ladder, the nicer society is to us. College and internships exist for the express purpose of expanding our networks and giving us better standing in society. When we are not doing other obligatory social tasks, such as attending networking events, we are spending copious amounts of time checking up on other people's performance to ensure that we are doing better than, or at least as well as, the people around us. This is where sites like Facebook, Twitter, and Weibo come in handy. People willingly put the most intimate details of their lives on the internet for their friends, and sometimes the world, to see. We, as victims of this social machine, freely give up copious amounts of time to voraciously consume this information, which we use to our detriment and every now and then to our benefit. Consider the second poem for the night. Facebook. Obsession. Addiction. Like, comment, like, share. Subscribe, message, like, upload. The idle habit slowly begins to consume my life. I scroll until my thumb is sore, until my pinky aches from supporting my phone. I scroll until my wrist is crying in pain, until my fore and middle fingers are numb. I can't sleep, so I check my phone. Gotta check Facebook, gotta check for validation. My picture got 49 likes. I'm so artsy. My status started a discussion. I'm an intellectual. Stephanie is in Greece. Sandra's picture got 53 likes. I must not be as good as her. We are constantly measuring ourselves against the fake bits of other people's lives, the shiny, polished status updates. I scroll to the exclusion of completing my homework. I scroll to the exclusion of reading the book. I scroll for so often and for so long that the only time I can write this poem is at 2 o'clock in the morning when my lover Facebook has gone to bed for the night, and still, as the ink of my strange multi-purpose pen tool fills the pages between my simple black journal, the urge remains. It's as if I scroll far enough, I can erase the memory of anything unpleasant, or fast forward into a brighter future where we again talk face to face, where we care for our neighbors more than we fear them, where words are the solution, not guns. But at this rate, I'll be scrolling forever. We have so many resources at our fingertips. There is no reason why we shouldn't use these people, these ideas, these tools to come together and create something good for the world, rather than trying to leapfrog up the social ladder. Eric Whitacre famously creates lush symphonies of voices with thousands of people on the internet. Granted, such a presentation would require massive amounts of coordination, but who's to say we can't do something similar? At the very least, we should try to use these resources to come together and create something truly amazing. Thank you.